Hey guys, Carl from Purple Mist Plays. Been away for a little while, was away in Japan this summer for about a month, and I sort of ran out of pre-recorded videos, so I've been missing for a couple weeks. Things may be a little slow as I get back into things, but here we go with another Purple Moose's Parcels. As you may or may not already know, I am sponsored on this channel by Noble Knight Games. They are a gaming store out in Wisconsin that also has a wonderful online presence. But what makes them special is that they have lots of used, rare, hard to find games. And even cooler than that, they have a really great used game trade-in system that they pay shipping. All you gotta do is send them the list of games that you've got and their condition. They'll make you an offer in credit and in cash. You choose what you want, you box up those games, and they will pay shipping to ship it to them. Really, really great program, but what that means is also that they have lots of really great used games available on their site. If you haven't seen any of the videos in this series yet, what I am doing is I am using a credit that I get from my sponsorship to buy new games at Noble Knight to sort of fill in my collection where I think I need to fill in my collection, but also hopefully to find some games that I can then later on show you on this channel. So enough chit chat out of the way, let's take a look at this month's box from Noble Knight Games. I say this month, I don't do it every month because it's fun sometimes to let the credit pile up and get a bigger shipment or some bigger games. This one I did put in the order for over the summer, and I've kind of got an idea of what's in there, but again, I've been away for so long that I've sort of also kind of forgotten what's in there. So this is going to be exciting for me as well as you, hopefully. Let's cut into the box and see what I've got. All right, here we go. First things first, you'll see here, they throw these into their packages, 10% bonus on your first trade-in. I mentioned the trade system before. The first time you do it, they will give you an additional 10% on whatever you are trading in. It's also worth checking on their website because sometimes there are specific lists of things they're looking for that they'll actually pay more for at any given time period. But with that said, let's go ahead and dig into the box and see what I've got. And right away, the first thing that I had forgotten that I ordered, and now I'm very, very glad that I did, is my next box of Final Girl. I went for Dr. Fright this time. Big fan of the Nightmare on Elm Street series, so I thought this would be another interesting box to dive into after the Happy Trails box that I already have. I do have a video up for the first game, or they sort of, I don't want to say first game because it came out as a set of a bunch of different stories, but Happy Trails is kind of the core experience. Again, I have a video up for that. I do hope to dig into more of these Final Girl boxes, and I'm very excited to see what Dr. Fright and Maple Lane offers, what kind of changes it brings to the game. So very, very excited for that one. Next up is one that's going to come as a bit of a surprise to the channel, because it's not soloable and it's not even a board game, but it does come from a board game publisher. And that is this one here, Alice is Missing. This is something I've been very interested in for quite a while now. This is a role-playing game, but it says here, if you can see it, a silent role-playing game. And what that means is this game tells the story of this girl who goes missing, and all of the people playing this game sort of take on the role of her friends. But the whole game plays out over basically a series of text messages. I don't really know how the prompting works and how the story unfolds, but it does play in about 2 to 3 hours, as you see here. I'm really excited to see how a sort of cell phone text-based story of sort of teenage kids, somebody goes missing, trying to figure out what's going on by the kids sort of texting each other back and forth. I'm very excited to try this out. And I think I have some people at work who might just be willing to try it out with me. So I took a gamble and I went ahead and finally picked up a copy of this. I'm very excited to see how this plays. And while it won't ever be on my channel because it's not a solo game, I will absolutely share my opinions of it on Instagram and Twitter and so on. If you follow me on socials, you'll definitely see some more about that. Next up is a larger box. This one I did pick up from the used game list at Noble Knight. You see all of their used games are sort of labeled as condition. This says EX and M. That's near mint, excellent quality. That is Clank Catacombs. I'm a huge fan of the Clank series. Really enjoyed the original Clank. Then really even more fell in love with Clank in Space and how it added the sort of different sort of synergies with different card types, and the idea that you sort of had to unlock certain things before you could get the artifact and run away, so you couldn't just like turn around and run back right away early in the game. I ended up selling off my core game when I got Clank in Space, and I haven't played Clank in Space in quite a while, but very recently my coworkers and I played through the entire campaign of the original Clank Legacy, which was wonderful. And I keep seeing great things about Clank Catacombs. If you don't already know, what this adds to the series is basically there is no board now, it's these modular tiles. And I think that's exactly sort of what Clank needs. The whole idea of Clank is that you're going down into these dungeons looking for treasure to bring back with you. And of course, if you're going down into a dungeon looking for treasure to bring back with you, you don't know what you're going to find in there. So to see the whole map ahead of you when you get into the game seems to kind of be anti-thematic. But this version with these sort of modular tiles that as you explore slowly unveil the shape of the dungeon and the things that you're finding really thematically makes sense, and also seems to be really, really interesting, unique twist on gameplay. Again, Direwolf has a solo campaign for this in their app. I'm very, very excited to dig into this, see the twists it adds to Clank, and it's very likely this is the version of Clank that stays on my shelf moving forward. And then last but not least, almost missed it because it was buried in the bubble wrap in the box, but luckily I remembered that I had ordered it, and that is Gloomhaven. You can't see it, it's hiding buttons and bugs. And just so you can see, my hands are here. This box is incredibly tiny because what this is, if you're not already aware, is a solo-only mini tiny version of Gloomhaven. The maps and everything are on individual cards. The miniatures are super, super, super tiny in this. As a big fan of Gloomhaven, I played a ton of it on TTS during the pandemic with my father and some of my friends. I tried to get back into it to play solo, and it was just a little bit too much overhead and upkeep to play the core game solo. Jaws of the Lion worked a little bit better solo, but ultimately, Gloomhaven for me never really worked solo because there were too many cards to pay attention to when you're controlling multiple characters. And now to see a solo version, mini portable version of Gloomhaven has me very excited, and I can't wait to dig into this one. And this one absolutely will be coming to the channel at some point in the future. So yeah, I'm very, very excited about this. So that's it for this edition of Purple Moose's Parcels. We've got a couple of solo-only games, a really fun multiplayer game that also works very well solo, or at least that's what I understand from previous versions. I'm excited to try Catacombs. And then one weird one out of left field is this multiplayer RPG, text-based RPG. Very excited to get all of these played. Can't wait to try them out and can't wait to share my thoughts with all of you. If you have any of your own thoughts on these games, please make sure to leave them down in the comments below. If there's anything else sort of related to these or games that you think I should be taking a look at, always feel free to leave some recommendations down below, and I will definitely check them out next time I'm picking up a package from Noble Knight Games. That's basically it this time. I hope that this video was enjoyable. If you did like it, I do always ask that you click the like, subscribe, and bell icon below, and I'll see you all next time. Thanks.